Is Meghan Markle absolutely now losing her grip, not just on reality, but on power? As ever, let me explain. Hi, nice to see you. Hope you're keeping well. Thank you so much, as ever, for joining me today. People say to me, "Do you mean that, Neil?" Of course I mean that. We're friends, right? It's nice to check in with people, isn't it? And thank you for your kind comments about me when I say things like, I've got a cold or I'm feeling a bit run down or whatever. I'm fine, honestly. I'm just a moaner. Are you like that, though? You just think, oh, I feel like death today. But you can get through, can't you? A cup of tea, a cup of coffee or something brings you around a little bit. And I often find laughing at things, as you can tell, you all know, don't you? I'm a giggler. And so the thing is, the slightest thing sets me off. A good Laurel and Hardy, an old time Scooby Doo, wacky races. Do you remember Dick Dastardly and Muttley? I think if you put those things on YouTube, it takes you right back to being a kid and you think, get a grip, Neil, move on. All the problems you think you might have, you just kind of move on, don't you? You know what I'm saying? Find something to laugh at. What do you mean you're laughing at me now? I know, I can see you. Stop it. Back as ever to your breaking royal story of the day. Yes, this really is about, on a more serious note, Meghan Markle. She must think, I certainly thought at one point, that she was invincible, particularly when she had that breakfast TV show host, Piers Morgan, removed from his slot. Such power to ring up somebody, the boss of an international TV channel, and basically say, I want rid of him. And they do that because she's that powerful at that point. Obviously, there were other things intertwined with that. They had the CBS interview lined up and they didn't want to offend anybody, didn't want to lose any ratings, certainly didn't want to lose any money. But how disposable did that make him become? I think it's fascinating to note, though, that that is like 2 years down the line almost. And obviously, the power that Meghan Markle had doesn't necessarily hold today. That's because she's exposed herself on many, numerous occasions now with her own narrative of the truth, her own storytelling, which hasn't necessarily combined with fact. We don't need to go into too much detail there. But it was a recent attempt by someone that basically, as they said, they shouldn't have written it, but they did, and they wrote it in a hurry. But then Harry and Meghan were not magnanimous, and they didn't decide to accept that apology publicly at all. In fact, they went to their website to rebuff him. But this has now happened, and as ever, it's the court of public opinion. Because over here, Jeremy Clarkson, who's had a bit of an embattled time for the last couple of months, has seen the fact that the British public and, of course, the wider world public do like his style of programming. His latest TV series, Clarkson's Farm, which airs on Amazon, has been a spectacular success, had glowing reviews. But we can tell you first over here on the show that over on ITV, where he hosts the quiz Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, in fact, not only do they want him to carry on, but they're looking to make sure that his contract is extended alongside a hefty pay rise. This is because many of the commercial backers on that particular program see that he is a key element to the show's success. I've told you before, ratings and money, advertising always win out over wokery, particularly in the commercial sector. In these very trying times, it doesn't matter how powerful you are. If they feel they're going to lose a lot of money, then they're certainly going to stick with the money rather than you. So rather than it backfiring on Mr. Clarkson, as of course Meghan and Harry would have hoped, it seemingly actually made him more popular. Not only that, more famous around the world, because now more and more people want to actually buy Clarkson's farms in other territories that never heard of him before because they looked at it and thought, actually, this looks quite fun. It must be really galling, don't you think, for Harry and Meghan to think that they had this wonderful power, they had this thing, and then they've abused it to such a degree that even now, with all of their stamping around and putting missives out on their website, seemingly nobody actually cares, other than, of course, those dedicated staff, which many might say were forced to put out that missive to say how brave, spectacular, and forward-thinking Prince Harry was releasing his book Spare. As for Mr. Clarkson, Harry and Meghan's diva demands have simply not done a thing to close the stable door on Clarkson's farm. And if anybody's looking to become a millionaire, it looks more so like Mr. Clarkson himself. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.